another podcast TV on ENTV this evening. This is the first time you're listening to a podcast video. I'd say you should subscribe to our ENTV YouTube channel. It is absolutely free, and after subscribing, you also click on the bell sign beside the subscribe button, so it will afford you the opportunity to get notification each time we upload a new video. Now today let me first bring you the face. Let me tell you about what is actually happening in the political scene right now in Lagos State. It is actually fierce and heated up. The two top contenders, as you can see on the screen here, Agbaje of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and Sanwo-Olu of the All Progressive Congress in Lagos. These two men are actually slugging it out as they are the two top contenders of the the governorship seat here in Lagos State. And on Sunday, what I had titled a battle to finish, on Sunday, Agbaje had actually appeared on Channels Television, where he actually did a rundown evaluation of what the APC in Lagos actually looks like. He actually tried to mess up the image of the All Progressive Congress here in Lagos. He has actually said Lagos is in the hold of just one man who remote control it just the way he loves. And right here, I'm going to be bringing you what follows. After Jimmy Agbaje's appearance, where he took the All Progressive Congress in Lagos and its flag bearer Sanwo-Olu to the cleaners, Sanwo-Olu in his own part had also appeared on the same TV station in an arranged interview session with Channels Television, where he had the opportunity to respond to some of the allegations. Should I say allegations? Let me say some of the points raised up by Jimmy Agbaje. Now, Agbaje has also now responded after that after Sanwo-Olu's appearance. Here is how Agbaje responded. Agbaje, Sanwo-Olu, among the things he mentioned continuity in government. Sanwo-Olu has said we will continue, or we will be innovative and improve all of our processes. Now, Jimmy Agbaje, in a swift response there, in a write-up he made available to the public after that Sanwo-Olu's appearance, trying to squash everything that he had said. He said innovative. An attempt at innovation is what has cost the incumbent a second term. Your aspiration to govern is not on your own terms. You will not be allowed to think freely and run a government. Lagos deserves a free hand and independent mind. Someone who is not tied to the apron springs off a godfather. Now, you see the what he's trying to say here, if in case you don't understand the grammar, you see, Sanwo-Olu had actually mentioned about continuity in governance. He had actually talked about how they are going to make sure that they are innovative and that they improve on all the processes when he was asked about continuity. Now, in buttressing what has actually brought about the emergence of Sanwo-Olu as the Guba candidate for the All Progressive Congress, Jimmy Agbaje said, how can you be innovative when the attempt of the incumbent, that is Akinwumi Ambode's attempt at being innovative is what has led him into losing the second time ambition. And I think that in a community or in an environment or where politics is actually issue based, I think some of the things that were raised here are some of the things to consider when we want to pick our leaders. Actually, Jimmy Agbaje made it very clear that it isn't Sanwo-Olu's idea for him to run as a governor. In fact, he made it clear that he made it very clear that Lagos deserves an independent mind, someone who can think for himself and not someone who will be tough for, according to his own expression. Another matter that was raised up there by Sanwo-Olu is his running mate, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat. He said Lagos is getting an amazing deal, two governors wrapped in one. As a matter of fact, Sanwo-Olu made it clear that Dr. Obafemi Hamzat and himself are a great team, and that they're just like two governors who are running as one, like a combo package. Now, in fact, when Jimmy was to respond to that, because he dealt with all the points raised by Sanwo-Olu one by one, so I'm going to be reading you the point raised by Sanwo and how Jimmy dealt with them, so that's why I highlighted everything you see here that is highlighted in black like this are the points raised by Sanwo-Olu during that appearance, during that interview, and everything you see beneath it is Jimmy's response to each of the points, the bullet points that were raised. Now, this is what Jimmy said. He said, two governors wrapped in one as presented by you is an Elixir for anarchy in governance. You were billed to be Obafemi Hamzat's chief of staff in his attempt to run for office in 2014. If you could recall, the setting actually according to the rumor mill is that Sanwo-Olu actually was supposed to be Obafemi Hamzat's chief of staff if he had run, when he was trying to run for governor in 2014 until it was squashed, and by the party structure as given to us, by the All Progressive Congress. He said he cannot and will not really see himself as your deputy. With two powerful energies, the ego battles can only be imagined. Now, what Jimmy is actually trying to say here is that it will be difficult for Obafemi Hamzat, who was actually supposed to be a governor, who was supposedly to run for governor in 2014, who probably if he had won would have had you what's his name, Sanwo-Olu as his chief of staff, to now bow down to you being a governor and him as the deputy. So he said it's going to be a kind of power play. There's going to be a kind of power tussle. That's what Jimmy actually said here. Now, on another point that was raised, when he said, on my campaign promise, we will see significant development in waste management, education, transportation management, health, etc. Now, Sanwo-Olu actually talked about another very important point when he said his campaign promise is that when he becomes governor, when he ascends the seat as governor, he's going to make sure that there's significant development in the following areas like waste management, education, transport management, and health. Now, this is what Jimmy said. He said, you have clearly admitted that your current boss failed on the indices you listed above. That is to say, what Sanwo-Olu is trying to say is that Ambode has actually failed in the above mentioned bullet points. Like he's trying to say that Jimmy's trying to say that Sanwo-Olu has, in his own words, mentioned that Ambode has failed in waste management, education, transportation management, and in health. If you are coming in as a governorship candidate and you are promising that when you become governor, you're going to make sure that there is innovative and significant development in all these areas, that means the current governor, who is also a candidate of the All Progressive Congress, has not done well in these areas that are mentioned. He continued. He said, as an appointee in his government, you had the opportunity to offer your 2 cents on how things should be better, but you did not. Understandably, you cannot give what you don't have. In the innermost recess of your heart, you know that You cannot rock the boat of the establishment that has propped you up. Now, Jimmy here is just trying to say that um, um, haven't served, haven't Sanwo-Olu haven't served um, in Amode's cabinet. As a prominent member of his cabinet, he had the opportunity to change and turn things around. But since he could not do it, then what is the guarantee that him now coming as governor and promising he's going to do all these things that he had the opportunity to, to actually advise the governor then, the governor right now, sorry, to do that he's going to do these things. According to Jimmy, he said, as a matter of fact, that what you don't give, what you don't have. He's saying to someone, you cannot give what you don't have, that you don't have it in you and you cannot give it. Another point again that is raised there, he said, on my readiness for governance, according to Sanwo-Olu, he said, I have been preparing for this all my life. Sanwo-Olu has claimed he's been preparing for governorship all his life. Now here is Jimmy's response. It would be nice that you parade a list of your achievements in the public and private sector to buttress the claim that you have been preparing for this all along. In your previous roles, what were your achievements? As MD of LSDPC, how many housing units were added to solve the housing challenge? As Commissioner to Establishment, how did the lot of civil servants improve? As Commissioner for Commerce, what did you do to improve the ease of doing business? What successes can be attributed to you, Agbaje Sanwo-Olu? Now, it is very clear. Agbaje Sanwo-Olu had actually mentioned in that interview that he's actually prepared to be governor. In fact, he had been preparing to be governor all his life. Now, Jimmy is trying to discredit him there when he said, you cannot point at you will have to do a very good job at buttressing that his claim, because he cannot point out to one achievement that he has had. The fact that he needs to reel out his achievements when he was in government, to actually convince him that much. According to him, he said, when you were as MD of LSDPC, how many housing units were added to solve the housing challenge? If you recall, that Sanwo-Olu was once the MD of the Lagos LSDPC program, where he was to handle all the housing issues or housing related issues in Lagos State. But Jimmy is now accusing him that he didn't do nothing when he was the MD of this LSDPC to improve the lives of Lagosians in terms of solving the housing challenge that was facing Lagosians at the time. And according to him, he said, when you were also as Commissioner of Commerce, he didn't do anything to improve the ease of doing business in Lagos. He said, so now why are you telling us you have been getting ready for this all your life when you have not been able to do this in the past? Now, another point again there, Lord, raises on Lagos and the Igbos. The narrative that Lagos dislike the Igbos is extremely false. Now, Sanwo-Olu actually, tried to counter that claim that Lagos dislike the Igbos. If you recall about Rilwan remark some time ago when he mentioned that the Igbos were going to drown, that statement and that comment in 2015 raised a lot of dust in the polity, and a lot of people expressed, particularly the Igbos, expressed their displeasure over the king's remarks in that regard. And now, Jimmy Agbaje tried to bring us back to that era where these things were mentioned, when he talked about that this current Lagos dislikes the Igbos. Now, standing on his claim, Jimmy Agbaje now answered this by saying, oh yes, Lagos does not dislike the Igbos, your political establishment does. The royal utterance of 2015 is still fresh on the mind of the entire electorate. A threat to drown an entire race is rather unfortunate. Lagos is home to all. It has always been and will always be. Ben Akaboze was, before I go into Ben Akaboze's matter, he is trying to say, here, that yes, truly, Lagos does not dislike the Igbos, but that the way the polity is actually designed makes it look like the Igbos are actually hated, Now, I'm mentioning Ben Akaboze was serving as a commissioner under Babatunde Raji Fashola was the ex-governor of Lagos State, and right now he's now working at the presidency. He's no more a part of the the cabinet, the Lagos State governing cabinet. Now, the thing there is he's trying to mention that the way the governance in Lagos State is structured, it is structured in such a way that there's no inclusiveness. There's no they don't run a government of inclusion when it comes to other races, particularly the fact that the Igbos dominate, Lagos State. So now, this loggerhead continued, and he said on technology, Jide Sanwo-Olu still. I'm reading. I mean, this is where I am right now, where you find my mouse. Now, Jide Sanwo-Olu on technology. I believe technology will play a big part in solving a lot of problems, from modeling plans to making informed predictions and then to actual solutions. This is Jide Sanwo-Olu talking. Now here, his opponent said these are buzzwords used at Monday morning meetings. The Lagos electorates are not docile thinkers. Technology is an enabler that is available to everyone. It is a leveler, and people can no longer be bamboozled. Now, you hear what he's trying to say here. Sanwo-Olu is trying to buttress the fact that technology is something that is needed, in running a smooth Lagos. It helps to solve problems. It helps to reel out plans and inform predictions, and then to cause actual solution. But in his response, after Monday, this is what Jimmy said. He said these are buzzwords. That is, these words are just words. That you're just using these words to create confusion. You're just giving them, buttressing them unnecessarily. That Lagos State electorate are not docile thinkers. This is, they are not daft. They're progressive thinkers. They know that technology is an enabler that will enable them to do everything. But that the fact that you are making it look as if that is a strong point for you to campaign, it's making it look like you're bamboozling them, which is unnecessary. So we now talked about the free Wi-Fi. He said, we're going live this week in some of these locations. Internet for knowledge, research, empowerment, and ultimately for solutions. So Sanwo is actually trying to tell us that he's activating the Sanwo free Wi-Fi, in some locations here in Lagos, and he said he talked about what the knowledge of the internet can do, and here is what Jimmy said: this is merely a political gimmick. Lagosians know better than be swayed with such great gifts. The voting populace is not data hungry. They want freedom to be able to live a decent life in the city they have come to know as home. They are not cheapskates to be swayed by cheap data. Actually, Jimmy tried here to attack Sanwo-Olu, discredit him word for word for everything that he said during that interview. Because what he did here was he itemized all the points that were raised here and tried to respond to them one by one. Here is what he's trying to say. He's saying that data is not the problem of Lagosians. Lagosians don't have the problem of data. They are not data hungry. That this is just a political gimmick. That's what he says to Sanwo. On freedom, Sanwo says, for anyone to imply that Lagosians are slaves is just plain mischief. We will rank high in parts of the world. Now here is what Jim said. We will rank high. If we have not ranked high in about 2 decades of which you and your cohorts have been in government, what can you possibly do to make such happen? So he's trying to just tell us it's almost impossible. Since you have not been able to achieve this in the last 2 decades, since 1999, when Lagos State have been a state of in this democratic regime since 1999, and that APC had taken over rulership of Lagos State. If you have not been able to achieve this, what is the guarantee that you are going to achieve it now? Freedom is an opportunity for Lagosians to elect a governor that they can hold accountable, or governor that they can question, and on whose table the buck stops. Freedom is running an open government where the finances of the state are not opaque. Freedom is not allowing government to run as they should, a true third tier of government, and not okay. Freedom is allowing government to run as they should, a true third tier of government, that is the local government, and not as mere appendage of the state. Freedom is domestication of the Freedom of Information Bill. Freedom is the ability of an elected leader to choose his own cabinet. Now that's Jimmy Agbaje for you. I think it's clear, very clear what he was trying to say there, so I do not need to buttress it any longer. Now he went further. So we also raised another issue there, and when he said, let us not trivialize our lives and make negative assertions about ourselves. Slavery was a reality that our forefathers had to live with. We said, you make a very good point there. We should not trivialize our lives. However, in all of your public statements in recent times, you have not paid homage and obeisance not to Lagosians, but to whom you prefer to as national leader for your opportunity to pick a candidate. In effect, you couldn't have dared to run if you were not handpicked to be endorsed. J.J. Russo, okay, let me just leave that part of J.J. Russo. Jimmy just trying to say that you Sanwo-Olu, you were handpicked, and never have you in your campaign returned any homage to Lagosians, but to your national leader, who is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now another matter, there's Sanwo-Olu's response to Jimmy Agbaje. Eventually, this evening, Sanwo-Olu in his campaign office had reacted to Jimmy Agbaje. I'm going to be reading clearly from the statement. He said, fellow Lagosians, my opponent, Mr. Jimmy Agbaje, had a tweet storm yesterday night where he attempted, though in a very poor manner, to join issue with me on my appearance on TBC yesterday morning. My initial reaction was to ignore him. In this campaign season, it behoves on anyone seeking to be governor of Lagos to have an elevated mind. As leaders, we should place a high premium on civility and imbibe a high level of decorum in a period like this as example of our followers. Our campaign should be about important issues that affect the lives of our people, what we are bringing to the table to make life more meaningful to Lagosians. You know what? I'm not going to bore you by reading everything that he has said here, but what you can do is to subscribe to this channel, ENTV, and then click on the bell sign by the subscribe button so that you can be the first to get notification each time we have a new video. And then on the other hand, I'm going to be posting this story written by Yes International Magazine on the description section of this post, so you can also read for yourself. Now, like I said, if this is the first time you're listening to this podcast video on ENTV, please click on the subscribe button. We're not taking your loyalty for granted. Our subscribers keep growing, which shows that we're making an impact in the society, and we enjoy you to join us in making this impact. Thank you very much, Lagos. Thank you very much, Nigeria. Thank you.